This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
Just
this
stop.
is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Monday, good-looking people.
Yes, I appreciate that. Feeling good today. It was a great day.
Throw out a little compliment, you know?
Yeah.
What's Tori doing?
Just trying to
She's
make my
looking
arms
at
look-
herself.
Trying to counter my point.
I'm trying to make myself look pretty, as you said.
Is that the definition of narcissism? Looking at yourself while you're on TV on another
He
TV?
just called me pretty, so I wanted to make sure I looked
Okay, but
the
then you
part.
started flexing and looking
reading
up.
comments about yourself while you're on TV
I'm just
looking at
making
yourself.
sure I look the part.
So nothing has changed. It's Monday and we're back to normal.
Yes.
We didn't miss a step. All right, let's get right to it, guys. Oprah is taking a deep dive into drugs like Ozempic in her new special about weight loss. It airs tonight on ABC. Take a look.
Obesity is a complex disease.
They are the new drugs sparking the weight loss revolution.
All of a sudden, I felt like I was freed.
But there's confusion and controversy. Are the medications safe? Should children take them?
She would be 500 pounds by 16.
So I'm having a conversation with lead experts to answer our questions.
These medications are really a game changer.
Let's stop the shaming and blaming.
So last year, Oprah admitted to using weight loss drugs. She also resigned from the Weight Watchers board in order to do that special. And I think that's very responsible of her to be open and honest of how she's losing that weight. Because, I mean, going all the way back to when I lived in Chicago and she had the Oprah show and my mom watched, people still, she was doing that, you know, the yo-yoing on the diets.
Right.
And people always tuned in to see what Oprah was doing. At least my mom did.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I know.
Yeah, I think Oprah represented a large amount of people in this country, especially as it has to do with her weight struggles and the yo-yoing. Because if I think people looked up to her, they did.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so if they're like, this person who has everything is still struggling, maybe I am. Because I think when Oprah was big, there wasn't this voice in social media that used to dare to support you stuff like, hey, if you're having trouble with weight, it's not necessarily your fault. It used to just be the public like, how dare you be overweight? What do you think your husband's going to think? And so we do have this different narrative. So, I mean, I do think that's a good thing. I would want to ask you this question, though, Jeff. Do you think that she stepped away from Weight Watchers, or Weight Watchers was like, hey, I wish you could have maybe stepped away first and then got on Ozempic, because it was kind of obvious to the public?
I think Oprah does what Oprah
Do you think
wants.
she did damage to the Weight Watchers brand?
Yeah, they dropped 27%. The stock plummeted, and that's the Oprah effect. They knew it's going to happen, but to be honest, it's not working for a lot of people. I have an information here. 65% of Americans say that willpower alone is not enough for most people to lose weight and keep it off. And what she really wanted to get across, and this whole brand is about, is it's a gene, it's a disease, and this can help you. So here she is on Jimmy Kimmel explaining that a little bit further, her point she's trying to drive through. Go ahead.
Obesity is a disease. It is not a disease for everybody who's overweight. It is a disease if you carry the gene or the propensity for the adipose gene, which is the fat gene. So not everybody who overdrinks is an alcoholic. But if you have the gene for it, you develop alcoholism. It is the same thing with people who have obesity.
I just appreciate her making obesity, for those who can't get rid of it because of that adipose gene, like a chronic condition and not to be shamed. I appreciate that a lot.
I think Oprah is super relatable because, like you said, she's someone on television people have tuned in to see every day for many years. They've seen her struggle, and she's been very open and very honest. And I praise her for admitting, you know what, I've stepped away from Weight Watchers and I've taken Ozempic, and you know what, it's worked for me. And the results are evident. Did you see her on all the color purple red carpets?
I think that's when people first started to notice.
It's unbelievable.
Jaws were
She
dropping.
looks fantastic. And I think, I hate the whole shaming thing. I think people need to do whatever is best for them. And if you are obese, that can put some serious pressure on your heart, your organs, your overall health. And if this is the way to get you healthy and to help you lose the weight and be able to take control of other things, why not? Go for it. If you're entitled to it, if you can get help with your health insurance, if it's something you want to do, we shouldn't shame the people for wanting to be healthier. at all.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole thing, but I guess it's something new, and we're gonna have to work through it just like everything else. All right, speaking of Oprah. Okay.
Her sister.
I know, I had so many jokes there, but we're on a television show. Her movie, The Color Purple, won big at the NAACP Image Awards Saturday night. The movie picked up 11 awards, including Best Picture. It stars Taraji P. Henson and Fantasia. They both won acting awards, and Oprah presented Usher with the Entertainer of the Year award and took pics backstage with him and Tyler Perry. In Usher's speech, Usher said it's been quite a year. Let's listen.
You know, this has been an amazing career, 30 years of passion that led me to Las Vegas to be able to celebrate the entire legacy. That's 100 shows sold out, and then a residency in Paris, and then to play the Super Bowl, get married, and also to release an album. I don't know how many people do that much stuff in one setting.
I like it.
Work ethic.
For Usher.
Yeah.
I love seeing his wife in the audience too. That's lovely. She's so happy, beaming with pride for him. Like, well deserved.
And when she gave the Oscar, the NAACP Image Award to Usher, you could tell
Was the award for humble brag?
No, but he goes, oh, you didn't like it?
It was a little humble braggy.
Well, he just won a huge award. You're allowed.
I think, let's be honest though, Usher hasn't been this popular and this much in the spotlight for quite some time. I do think he deserves his moment, and I think he himself, it sounds as though he's saying, this has been my life recently, and even I'm like, whoa, where has this come from? That's how I took it.
Where do you think it comes from?
I think he was in shock, like, you know, this has been my life, literally for the past, like, I don't know, 12 months, 24 months, and it's unbelievable.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because it just seems like, you know, we're in this new era where people, like my kids know who Aaliyah is. And she died in 2001. And they're huge fans, like she's an artist now. And I wonder if it's because the streaming is around that people's careers, because it's very rare that 30 years into your career, you're as hot as ever. Now, granted, he did the Super Bowl, but why was he even in the social
nostalgia? It's nostalgia. Everybody comes around.
But the residency? And
yeah, I think people really want that nostalgia. And I think Usher reminds people of, especially our age, 42, 43, of their college years. You know, it really brings him back, and it's the right time for him, and he's ready for it and prepared. But he got really scared when Oprah gave him, and he goes, I didn't know you'd be here. I started my career on your show. And it was so sweet. It was very, very sweet. So I'm happy for Usher.
It's a bit of a global domination, though, like Las Vegas residency, Paris residency, they're huge. And he was in the Middle East a lot as well.
I think even for him, you know, he's so big and was famous for so many years, the amount of acknowledgement that he got over this past year, he's probably kind of just running through it in his head, right? Yeah. He's like, wow, it's been quite
Could you make the argument he's more famous now than at his height when he's younger?
No.
I don't know if he was doing all this. I don't know if you could be everywhere without the internet.
I think the level of celebrity back then, when he originally was famous, that was when celebrities were, I hate saying this, but they were real celebrities.
Real celebrities.
It's like when you got a paparazzi shot, it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Whereas now, I feel like we have so much access, too much access. You know everything about them, what they have for breakfast. It takes the mystique away. Yeah. I like that level of like not knowing, what are they really thinking? What would their take be? Whereas now, I know what they had for breakfast. I know. You know, I know too much.
There's famous, and then there's TRL famous. Remember those days in Times Square? Shut it down. Coming up on DBL, our interview with the cast of Girls 5 Eva. How Busy Phillips and Sarah Bareilles are bringing satire to pop music, and a new reported sighting of Kate Middleton ignites even more conspiracy theories. We're going to talk about that next.
All right, I asked if Usher was more famous now, just because I think with the streams, people can, first of all, the radio, obviously you were beholden to whatever that radio station was playing. So if they played Usher really big for a summer, well, the next summer there's going to be somebody else famous, and you're not going to hear Usher as much. Where now, if you are an Usher fan, you can have an Usher station on your Spotify.
We listen to the Dave Matthews station.
Right, and so these people, I think, are more in your everyday life than it would have been like, oh, I really like Stevie Wonder, you know, if I hear him on an oldie station or I'm at an aunt's house and they're playing. Now it's like I can listen to Stevie all the time. I can look at Stevie on the thing. Oh, he's got some weird indie project. I'm gonna follow that.
Yeah.
I think you can almost be more of a fan now than back then because you really were very limited to what was shown, what was given.
I kind of miss that though. Like the old stars, kind of like Steph was talking about a little bit. I don't need to know every single detail. You know, it's like we talk about Leonardo DiCaprio a lot, but he kind of, you know, he doesn't.
Quiet.
His whole social media is about saving the planet. And things. He doesn't post like, "Hey man, drink some tea."
Yeah.
You know?
Drink some tea, amen.
It's a real thing.
Do you think Usher is a better singer, dancer? Like, what is?
It's all.
He's such a good dancer.
He's a showman.
He's just like an entertainer. Yeah. Is
Yeah.
he? Is Bruno? Oh, did you see the Bruno Mars?
Yes.
What happened?
He owes $50 million to MGM for gambling.
Bruno.
50 mil. At first, I thought it was 50,000. I was like, yeah. And Brooks was like, you idiot! It's a 50,000.
If I heard that much, I'd be like, I will do a residency
He is.
for a year.
He has
pay it off.
to. He is.
Yes.
Yes.
He's got
like-
a 70-year residency.
Yeah, and each one's only 1.3, I think he makes.
Oh, well, I mean, that's
So
like
he's gonna have to stick around for.
Jew.
Welcome back to DBL. For weeks now, people have been speculating what's going on with Princess Kate Middleton since her surgery back in January. Well, the wait is finally over. Kinda. So check this out. The British newspaper The Sun reported she was spotted outside a farm shop, right? There she is right there. People there described her as, quote, happy and relaxed and healthy. But here's the catch. There were no actual photos from her outside that farm shop. Those are old photos. So if no photos exist, did it really happen? In my mind, absolutely not. All this follows the scandal around this photo of Kate that she admitted was altered using Photoshop. Why did she do that? I don't even get the point to that.
The palace does it because they stuck her head in there.
Yeah.
It's an old photo and they stuck her head on another
that's not
person's
her,
body,
like,
right?
wrapping- Oh,
that's the whole
really?
point.
Why wouldn't you hire the best editors if you were going to do that? I would think you have some access to some funds.
I was going to say, they
This whole
definitely could
thing.
afford a bit more help, couldn't they?
Break down some conspiracies for us.
Let's just be clear right now. Everything is a conspiracy. We have no hard facts on anything. We are just like you guys at home. We are all trying to find out the information. But Kate has not been seen for quite some time in public. Apparently, she was at the Windsor farm shop, but there were no photos. In this day and age, this is just my personal opinion, I find that very hard to believe because that photo would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking a house. Think about that for one moment. I don't believe that no one didn't whip out their phone to take a picture if she was really there when no one has seen Kate since Christmas.
I'm starting to feel like Kensington, the news is like Russia or like People's Republic of China, where I don't trust anything that's coming out, where they're like, she'll be seen here, or she was seen there, or she'll be fine. Like, everything they say makes it worse. You're creating such a vacuum of where is Kate that now all the rumors are getting more and more crazy.
See, I do trust Kensington Palace. I don't believe that they're telling us lies, but I think they're not giving us enough detail.
I think they're lying.
So I don't think they're lying because I think they've said she's gone in for surgery and then she's not going to resume duties until Easter. That's not enough information. We're talking about the future Queen Consort. She is a mother of 3 children. She is one of the most popular royal members in the world. Like, people, if you were going to release that statement, I think there has to be a follow-up. People are invested. And let's not forget, our taxpayers are paying for the royal family.
Right.
I think that's, you know, we are slightly entitled, which is awful to say, but it's true. That's how this system works. And I do feel bad for Kate. I do hope she's okay. And I don't think Kensington Palace are helping at all. I feel as though it's so murky and they're not very clear with anything. And that's where all these crazy crazy conspiracy theories are coming from.
Well, kind of to your point, speaking of the Kate rumors, some are saying the British royal family's long-held motto, quote, never complain, never explain. Well, that's outdated. They say not explaining things has only made it worse, kind of your point, Steph, and that the palace needs to, needs a more modern PR strategy. Or is this what they want to go with, Al? Like, listen, we'll handle it on our own time. Don't worry.
This seems like an issue of people that had a way of doing things, and those things worked for hundreds of years, and no one could really question. But I think, as with most enterprises, when the internet came along, either you adjusted or you did not. And the people that didn't adjust end up paying the price because they didn't foresee there being a situation where 100,000, 1 million people could analyze a photo and say, why is her fingers not lined up there? And how would the plant wouldn't be in bloom until July? They haven't prepared for this, and I think they're just using a 1989 handbook in 2000. I forgot the year, 2024.
There we go,
buddy. At 2014.
I was like, wait, I just really quickly want to expand on that. When the Queen didn't respond to Diana's death, the PR people famously just read the room wrong, and they told her to not come out and not do anything. And famously, it took Tony Blair, the Prime Minister, to be like, you need to step outside and say, our heart is hurting, the palace is hurting, because you're not reading the room of what the people in England are feeling. I feel like it's the same exact thing happening again. They're not listening or reading the room.
I like that we don't know everything.
Well,
I'd rather go down that conspiracy slide than get the truth.
It's like we were saying earlier, like about Usher and his pre-fame, right? Before, and it's like that mystique. And I think they've tried to hold on so much to that power and that mystique and the untouchableness to make them seem so special. But, like we said, like today's day and age is so different. We need answers.
I got a pretty good inside source, and it's an alligator accident.
It is?
Yeah,
it's a gator?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't supposed to tell.
In England?
I mean, she started a gator farm for charity.
A gator farm
it's a
for
charity. Yeah, and the gators build toys for...
they do?
Yeah.
With their little
Cots.
hands?
For squirrels.
Their little gator hands.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Here's a question for the ladies. Did you ever dream of being in a girl group growing up, like the Go-Go's or the Spice Girls? I did. Okay, me too. Well, our next guests made those dreams come true in their hilarious musical series, Girls 5 Eva. The show follows a one-hit wonder girl group from the 90s who reunite to try their hand at a comeback. Earlier, we spoke with the all-star cast. Check it out.
Please welcome to the show Sarah Bareilles, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Busy Phillips, and Paula Pell. Yes, girls.
you know, the four of you have become friends on and off screen. But what was it like when you guys got together for the first time? Because you guys didn't know each other, right?
No, we didn't know each other, and I actually was in my dressing room, and Sarah came in with like a very 90s spiky ponytail up on the top of her head, and I thought she just worked in the crew, and she came in and started talking to me, and I knew the other two women, but I hadn't met her yet, and she was like, "Hi, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad we're doing this." And I was like, "Oh, very nice. Thank you. And it's nice to meet you. Thanks. I'm Paula." And I just kept doing that kind of polite thing of like, "Okay, thanks. I'll meet you out there. See ya." And then I got out on set, and it was frickin' Sarah frickin' Burrell.
Hello. And I did have a mask on, so it wasn't that she didn't completely.
Yeah, and I was drunk that morning.
Yeah, of course. To be fair, she's drunk a lot.
Yeah.
Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the new season because it's about your comeback tour and life on the road. But we want to know if the four of you went on a trip in real life, who would be in charge of the playlist and what would be on it?
Oh boy.
We'd put Busy Phillips on the playlist.
Yes, Busy.
I would really be in charge. I am always kind of DJing, but I would need some input from Renee and some input from Paula and some input from Sarah because we do all kind of have different musical tastes in real life. But I do need to control the radio, guys.
We did an episode of Carpool Karaoke, and we had kind of pre-picked songs, but then when we got in there and started driving around and singing, we're like, "Oh yeah, what about this? Oh, what about this?" And we just started like DJing on the fly.
When we find a song, when we stumble upon something that we all know and love, it's a lot of singing in harmony.
Yes, true.
It's a lot of singing in harmony.
Okay, all right, so we have Busy controlling, although there's going to be a lot of input, so when it comes to the playlist. But I got to tell you, ladies, I just came back from a girls' trip, and I was in charge of the itinerary. It went okay. Who would be in charge of the itinerary to make sure you have the best time?
Busy Phillips.
Yeah.
Secrets are kind of like happy to be there, and Busy's like unacceptable. Yeah. We're doing this, guys.
I know everyone. She knows everyone, so you can say like, you know, it would be fun to do something where, you know, we go to like some museums, and she's like, "Okay, there's a guy named Scott." Well, and this is a good friend of mine, and he runs the Louvre. His name is Scott McQuell, and he runs the Louvre. That's what his name would be.
Okay, so Paula, you work with several of your fellow SNL alums on the show, like Tina Fey and Robert Carlock. Did you all have a hard time keeping it together when there's just so many funny people in one room?
Oh my God. Well, it's just so much fun. Like even when Tina called to say, "Do you want to be in the show?" The one huge gift of SNL is that you work there long enough, there's just a family that just keeps expanding longer and longer. And even on SNL now, there's sons of writers that I worked with who are now stars on that show. And so it's just like this legacy of people all the time. And Tina and Robert are just in my bones. They've been around forever, and I've known Meredith for a few years, but I didn't know her as well, obviously, as them. And so now it's just like we just keep, it's a beautiful thing. And it's probably the reason I'm acting, because as they started making shows, they were like, "Hey, do you want to be a totally big weirdo on 30 Rock and, you know, welcome Tina into your wedding bed?" My character on there, every time I was going to be on, they were like, "Okay, so this is what you're doing this time."
Well, Sarah, Renee, Busy, and Paula, thank you so much for joining us today. DBL Nation, you can now watch season 3 of Girls 5 Eva on Netflix. Thank you again, ladies. Congrats on season 3. Exciting.
What a great group.
We'll be right back.
Bye.
Welcome back. We talked about the bathroom being the perfect place for a little me time. Well, experts say showering can decrease anxiety and depression and relieve stress, not only boosting energy and confidence, but showers can also boost your creativity. So, Tori, do you spend a lot of time creating in the shower?
Actually, I do. So I have a shower lamp, as I've famously said, and I also have Aqua Notes, which are waterproof. The alpha waves coming in from the warmth and the slight dimness really work in my creative brain, and I come up with fabulous ideas.
What was the last idea you had?
To write this book I'm writing, which is coming out really well. It's about grief, and it's really funny.
Okay.
That's awesome, Tori.
Yeah, but it really, really helps you
Do we have a working
center.
title?
Grief, but funny.
Okay.
If you need some creative ideas to upgrade your bathroom, Jacuzzi can help. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Call 800-990-3709 or visit JacuzziBathRemodel.com. I just pictured Tori in there with the lamp for some reason and writing utensils.
Jeff, hold on. I'm going to get a plug in. I'm writing a book called Horror, But It's Okay. Yeah.
What happened? All right. DBL is new every day. It's Monday. You got to kick the dirt off the tires. See you tomorrow.